This is Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement or how to buy consulting services. You'll get tips on how to use consulting, buy consulting, and managing the consulting. And now your host, Helene Lafitte.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Smart Consulting Sourcing, the ultimate podcast dedicated to all things consulting procurement. I am your host, Helene, and we're reaching the final stretch of our journey on how to buy consulting services like a pro. Today, we're diving into the crucial topic of preparing the transition when the consultants depart, because projects are temporary. And it's all too easy to become dependent on the expertise and support of the consultant. And that's why it is so crucial to plan for the inevitable moment when they bid us farewell. So procurement has a pivotal role to play in this process, ensuring a smooth transition and preserving the project's legacy. But before we delve into that, let's take a moment to recap last week's exciting episode. Driving the performance of your project requires active monitoring and effective reporting to the mighty steering committee. Keep those stakeholders informed, address any performance issues head on, and make those regular meetings count by checking the delivery and involving stakeholders in measuring progress. Low performance, it can be a pesky little devil. Often it stems from a mismatch between the expertise of the consultants and the expectations of the client. So it's crucial to have an open and honest conversation with your trusted consultants, and if needed, be ready to make some changes to the contract. Remember, team dynamics and staffing adequacy can also have an impact, so don't hesitate to explore replacements when necessary. Now, collaboration, it's the lifeblood of a consulting project. It's all about building a formidable project team with the right talents, gaining the support of those decision makers, and maintaining clear lines of communications. And let's not forget the importance of allocating sufficient time and resources. That's the secret sauce for a project success. And now let's talk about managing the life of the project. We need to be on our toes, tracking and tracing every change that comes our way. Scope changes, staffing shuffle, unexpected timeline adjustments, and those unpredictable curveballs that life loves to throw at us. Right? And change management is our guiding light, ensuring the project stays on course. Let's not forget the power of documentation, capturing every interaction and decision for the sake of transparency. And for those marathon projects that seem to go on and on, a mid-assignment review is our saving grace. It's like a pit stop in the middle of a race where we assess progress, review the scope, and gather valuable stakeholders' feedback. It's a chance to realign objectives if needed and keep that project running smoothly. And lastly, we must nurture a collaborative relationship with our trusted consulting firms. Treat them like partners in this grand adventure. Provide them with feedback, positive or not, actually, and maintain a level of transparency when it comes to payment. Remember, it's all about collaboration, trust, respect. When we build a strong foundation, the consulting partnership thrives. Phew, that was quite the recap, right? So if you're craving more knowledge and want to revisit our previous episode, we've got you covered. You can find all the past episodes on your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or even on our YouTube channel. Just search Smart Consulting Sourcing and voila. But if you're hungry for even more in-depth insights and resources, head over to our website, consultingquest.com. There you can explore our thought list section, and you'll find there white papers, ebooks, and the full transcripts of our podcast. And while you're there, don't forget to share the podcast with your colleagues and leave us a review. We love hearing your feedback, and it helps us bring you even more valuable content. Now, let's talk about preparing for the transition. Many companies underestimate just how intricate the procurement process can be. Sure, on the surface, it may seem like a straightforward process that ends with placing an order. And when it comes to consulting, it's not that simple. Consulting it's a dynamic and versatile field, and intellectual services are anything but one size fits all, right? Simply signing a contract and assuming everything will work out exactly as specified, it is a recipe for overlooking the true potential of consulting partnership. In reality, both the clients and the consultants aim to establish a mutually beneficial professional relationship. That's where we need to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing procurement as a one-time transaction, let's embrace it as a long-term process. Taking a long-term approach to procurement opens up a world of possibilities. It improves communications, it aligns the scope of relationship, and it provides the necessary insight to foster continuous improvement and a truly predictive partnership. After all, procuring a consultant is an investment. And the return on investment comes through ongoing collaboration and follow-up. So let's take a moment to envision what success will look like. And no, I'm not thinking about just the end of the project. I'm talking about looking beyond that to the longer term outcomes. It's like picturing someone about to break a block of wood and concrete with a karate chop. If they aim directly at the block, they instinctively start the draw back a bit right before making contact. And now imagine if they focus their aim a foot past the block and then went for the chop. Crack, success. It's a little bit the same way. We should aim past immediate project and consider a broader picture. This mindset shift helps us begin to chart the right path for follow-up and ongoing collaborations. It's all about nurturing a relationship that goes beyond the project boundaries and sets the stage for long-term success. So how do we actually implement this long-term approach to procurement? Well, the truth is, it should have started way back, during the RFP stage. RFP is not just about making a simple purchase. It's about procuring solutions and setting the stage for long-term success. During the RFP process, it's important to think beyond the immediate project and consider how to determine whether the project goals were met and whether additional consulting support will be needed once the consultant departs. This means thinking ahead and including provisions for ongoing evaluation and follow-up. One crucial aspect is to keep in touch. Executive and consulting should maintain regular communication to ensure that the recommended systems and ideas work effectively to resolve the original issue. It's all about collecting data and gathering evidence to see if the new knowledge and system deliver the desired outcome, of if any adjustments are needed. Building in the collection of data points throughout the project for a period of 6 to 3 months or even up to 1 year afterwards, if this is essential. These data points will help measure the extent to which the intended solution has been implemented and whether it achieves the desired result. You and the consultants can analyze this data to determine the overall success, failure, or status quo of the project and determine the next steps to take. Additionally, it's important to include a compliance check within the RFP. Once the original project ends, the consultant should schedule a written visit to assess how much your team has absorbed the new lessons and how well the new systems are being incorporated as intended. This final deliverable can serve as the proposed way forward, providing valuable guidance for future actions and continuous improvement. And by integrating these practices into the procurement process from the very beginning, we set ourselves up for success in the long run. It's all about fostering a proactive and ongoing relationship with the consultants, ensuring that the desired outcomes are achieved and leveraging their expertise beyond the immediate project. So you've hired a consultant to address a specific gap and provide solutions, but that doesn't mean you have to follow every recommendation they make blindly. It's up to your company senior executives to carefully sift through those suggestions and cherry pick the ones that are most likely to solve the issue at hand. And once you've done this sifting, it's crucial to have a feedback session with the consultant. Discuss with them the choices your team has made. The wit and the sharp are, so to speak. The consultant brings valuable experience and can provide insights into the potential outcomes of keeping certain recommendations versus discarding others. Their input is invaluable in guiding your decision-making process. But here's the thing. Clarity is key. You need to know the what, the how, and the who before the consultant exits. Understanding what needs to be done without knowing how to do it can hinder success. So before the consultant wraps up their engagement, take the time to ensure that everyone involved knows what steps to take next, how to execute steps, and that the necessary resources will be allocated. It's the combination of knowing what to do and how to do it that makes all the difference between achieving a return on your consulting investment or experiencing a loss. It's not enough for your employees to simply understand what needs to be done. They also need the ability, support to implement those actions effectively. That's why it's crucial to plan ahead and build in to manage the implementation process and potential flavors. Ask yourself an important question. Who will be accountable for implementing the plan? How will the activity be steered and monitored? Who will be responsible for addressing any implementation issues that arise? And perhaps more importantly, how often and by what means will that person be accessible for support and guidance? By proactively answering those questions and establishing a clear plan, you set your team up for success. You create a framework for effective implementation and ensure that everyone involved understands their role and responsibilities. Now, all right, let's talk about retaining the knowledge and skills you've gained through consulting project. We all know that new skills can easily get lost in the shuffle of staff turnover or daily work demands. That's why you need a solid plan to ensure that the newly acquired knowledge remains at the forefront of your employees' work. First and foremost, ask yourself, is transferring knowledge explicitly is part of the mandate? Is it a priority for your organization? If so, consider implementing annual refresher courses, creating online manuals, or providing access to the consultant through email or web form, whatever works. Or better yet, why not incorporate all of these options? The goal is to provide ongoing support and resources to keep the knowledge fresh and accessible to your team. Another powerful strategy is establishing a mentoring relationship for an extended period of time after the project ends. Mentoring can make a significant difference in maximizing the long-term return on your consulting investment. By pairing employees with experienced mentors, you can create an environment for continued learning and skill development. So just remember to structure the arrangement with a clear timeline and establish data points for the mentorship, for when the mentorship will come to an end. Now, here's another aspect to consider. After focusing intensely on a project and then stepping away, new and transformational ideas emerge unexpectedly. These ideas can come from various sources within your company, such as your senior team or project team. And don't overlook the consultants themselves. They may have a few brainstorms once the project is completed. So to truly harness the potential of these novel ideas, you need to keep the door open for collaboration and follow-up. Create mechanisms that allow you to access these raw, innovative ideas. Coming on the heels of an intense project, they may contain the germ of an idea that with proper shaping and cultivation could lead to an unforeseen breakthrough and give your company a competitive edge. So explicitly create the potential for ongoing communication with the consultant, even after the initial project ends. Establish a framework that allows for the exploration and development of promising innovative ideas and approaching. By nurturing these ideas, you open the door to continuous improvement and the possibility of transforming your organization future. Now, here's a crucial piece of advice. Unless you possess the memory of an elephant and never forget anything, we strongly recommend writing down your assessment of the consulting team's performance throughout the entire project journey, starting from the bid phase. Trust us, having a record of their performance will prove valuable when it comes time to wrap up the project and settle the final invoices. Here are the key milestones to analyze the consulting team's project performance. Take note of the initial proposal, or where they understood your needs and the approach to solving your business challenges. This will serve as a reference point for evaluating their performance later on. Track the quality, timelines, and alignment of each deliverable against your expectations. document any deviations and areas where improvements are needed, assess how effectively consulting team met project milestones. Did they stay on track or deliver agreed upon results within the specified time frames? Note any delays and deviation that occurred along the way. And when you reach the project's conclusion, take the time to evaluate the overall performance of the consulting firm. Consider the ability to achieve the project's objective, the value they brought to your organization, and the overall satisfaction of the key stakeholders. It's by diligently recording your observation and assessment at these critical milestones, you have a wealth of information at your fingertips. If the project went smoothly, you can neatly close the project with confidence. But if any issues or concerns arise, you'll have the necessary data to support your claims and address any potential disputes. Remember, keeping a detailed record of the consulting team's performance, it's not about being overly critical or seeking to assign blame. It's about maintaining transparency and accountability and ensuring that you receive the value you expect from the consulting partnership and you pay for, actually. So before we wrap up, there's one more essential step to maximize the value of your consulting investment. Assuming you found the consulting team helpful and the project successful, it's crucial to building regular check-ins at a frequency that aligns with your business tempo. These check-ins serve as a fresh opportunity to evaluate what has been accomplished and identify any areas that may need adjustment to continue optimizing the original investment. These scheduled check-ins are forcing function, preventing the project from becoming just another item on your business to-do list or on your shelf. So by proactively setting aside time to assess progress and reassess strategy, you ensure that the project's impact doesn't diminish over time. Remember, the goal of procuring a consultant and working through the project isn't simply to complete the task at hand. The ultimate goal is implementing sustainable solutions to give your company a competitive edge. And to achieve this, you must lead your organization through a follow-up phase once the consulting team departs. The follow-up phase is where you solidify the highest return on investment for your consulting. During these check-ins, encourage open discussions about the outcomes achieved, the ongoing effectiveness of the implemented solutions, and any potential areas for improvement or further optimization. And that's by actively engaging in the follow-up phase, you ensure that the momentum and positive impact of the project continue long after the consultant has left. Keep in mind that sustainable success requires ongoing attention and adaptation. Your leadership is driving this follow-up phase is crucial for embedding the learnings, leveraging the implemented solution, and continuously fine-tuning your competitive edge. And this, with check-ins and proactive approach to follow-up, you can transform your consulting investment into a catalyst for long-term success and growth. With that, we conclude today's episode. So let's have a look at our takeaways. To prepare for the consultant's departure, create a plan that includes transferring knowledge and ongoing support. Make sure to have a clear understanding of next steps and how resources will be allocated. When evaluating and selecting recommendations, communicate clearly and provide guidance on implementation and how to manage potential failures. To maintain the knowledge and skill you've acquired, consider taking refresher courses, establishing mentoring relationship, and accesses consultant for ongoing support. Additionally, keep in touch with your consultants to continue collaborating and explore new ideas that can give you an edge over competitors even after the project is completed. Also, keep on the consulting team performance during the entire project, including the bidding process, important tasks and deadlines, and project completion. This record can be helpful when concluding the project and dealing with any concerns. Arrange regular meetings to review progress, make necessary changes, and improve the original investment. These meetings prevent satisfaction with the current situation and guarantee continuous success. Remember, the goal is not just to complete project, but to achieve sustainable solutions that enhance your competitive edge. And by following these principles, you can lead your organization toward long-term success and make the most of your consulting investment. Now get ready for an insightful episode next week. We'll be delving into the topic of wrapping up the project, even in cases of early termination. So we'll explore the various aspects involved, including adapting the project scope, managing the termination process, handling payments, ensuring a smooth final wrap-up, conducting a comprehensive performance debriefing. So whether you're facing unexpected challenges or simply reaching the end of a project, you will get valuable tips to navigate the closing phases successfully. So don't miss out on this important discussion on smart consulting sourcing. Till then, stay safe and keep up the smart consulting sourcing game. Remember, if you have any questions or need additional support with your consulting procurement endeavors, I'm always game for a chat. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or drop me an email at helene.lafitte@consultingquest.com. Au revoir for now and happy sourcing.
You've been listening to Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit the website at consultingquest.com. Find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. For questions and comments, send an email to ellen.lafitte@consultingquest.com. See you next time.